Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, first question. What would you buy for a home gym starting from scratch, $5,000 budget? This is assuming you're not going to run conjugate. If you're going to run conjugate, you need to buy every specialty bar you can afford whenever you can afford it. Bands, chains, all that. That's what I would recommend. Now let's set all that to the side. Let's talk about for everyone else, because most of you are not going to run an in-depth conjugate program. There's probably not even a need. So here's what I'm going to say up front. A good rack. Go to a website like Rogue. No off-brands. You got $5,000. Put up to $1,000 into your rack. Buy the largest, sturdiest rack from a company that has lots of modular stuff. I like Rogue. I recommend Rogue. I would get an open base instead of a closed base if you started from scratch, because I bought something different and then upgraded it. But if I were to start from scratch, I would buy the largest, sturdiest, open base Rogue rack, or again, any comparable company that has lots of modular attachments that I could afford. All right, that's what I would buy. That's the basis. Do not skimp there. Next, quality barbells. You need a good power bar. A $200 power bar is not a good power bar. All right, I'm going to recommend anything from possibly from Rogue, Bells of Steel, Kabuki, Texas power bars, but you need a good power bar. Plates, this is where you can be cheap. If you're not doing what I do, you don't need to put a bunch of money in calibrated plates. All right, get a bunch of 45s. I would say for most people, cheap cast iron plates are fine. You probably want a couple of training plates. You want to buy some Rogue training plates like I have, you can get 2, or some bumpers. You need at least 2 bumper plates. Big old pile of 45s. All right. After that, a glute ham raise or reverse hyper. I'm going to say it depends on the age of the lifter as far as the importance of the other two. If you want a big monstrous deadlift with a low injury risk, I think you need a glute ham raise. I don't think it's replaceable. I attribute the glute ham raise to a big part of my deadlift strength. I think it has been the single most important tool that I have for building my deadlift up past 600 at age 45. I think the reverse hyper for a lot of older lifters or anyone with a history of back issues is a good idea. All right, this is your foundation. Now, this may not fill up. If you're careful with the plates, and you're willing to buy stuff like Titan for the other two things, this is not going to use your entire budget. You're going to have a couple thousand left. And in that case, that's where you could look at, hey, what specialty bars do I need? Do I need some adjustable dumbbells? Right? I would say a big chunk of it would be an axle bar, safety squat bar, dumbbells. That's where I would put the rest of the money. But here's the thing. If you get a good rack from a reputable company that's going to be there a long time, you can keep adding attachments to it. You can add whatever you need. All right, next question. I have elbow inflammation. Will high rep band push downs help? If so, how many and how often? All right, yes, or they will make it worse. They will make it worse if you try to go heavy. All right, if you try to treat it like a primary exercise that you're building a bunch of tricep muscle with, you're going to make it worse. So by high reps, I don't mean 20. You need to get a band that's light enough that you can do 50 reps. You need to be in the 50 to 100 rep range. I would do about 100 reps every day. I do them every day. If you have elbow tendon inflammation, until that inflammation goes away. I would say that you need to address whatever is causing it. You need to figure out what's happening in your training that's giving you the dodgy elbows, and you're going to need to trim it out. It's probably 99.9996%. It is the tricep exercises that you're picking. It is not your bench press. Okay? You may need to relegate yourself to nothing but dips, band press downs, and dumbbell presses. Palms in dumbbell presses might be what you need, which is fine. But you're going to need to address that in the future. All right, next question and last question of the week. I've been lifting for 7 months and have been following your novice linear program and have hit your novice strength standards. I have been on the lookout for an intermediate program and came across your off-season intermediate routine. Would you still recommend someone run this program when you have been pushing 5-3-1 in conjugate? The answer to this is going to be the same as it has been the last 6, 7, or 8 times that I've answered this in the Q&As. And that's okay. You clearly haven't seen those, so we need to knock this out again. People wouldn't be asking it if they were aware of it. No, I am telling you guys not to run linear periodization. Do not run linear block periodization. That program is linear block periodization, and it was never really my program. It's something I've said quite a few times. Many times. It's not my program. I took, because people said, hey, how would you set up a linear periodization program for an intermediate? Someone asked me that, oh gosh, about 8 years ago, right? They asked me that as almost like a Q&A type question, and I made it into a video. And of course, I think it got published in Muscle and Fitness or something, where I just basically took a classic block periodization and put 5 basic barbell lifts in it and just plugged it into a 12-week thing and said, here you go. This is easy. Anyone can set one of these up. It's not a problem. It's an intermediate linear periodization program, right? For off-season athletes. And since I made that video, tons of people then say, oh, you wrote this program with the intention that everyone's going to run it. Well, no, this was a hypothetical, and I don't promote linear periodization. So the answer is going to be no, don't run it. 5-3-1 or conjugate, that is the way to go. You need to pick one based upon the equipment you have. This is kind of the thing I always say with picking between the two. Personality. Can you handle maxing out every single week? That's a big part of it. If you don't think you can handle that, conjugate's not for you. I'm going to say at this point, if you don't have multiple barbells and at least some bands or chains, conjugate's not for you. Run 5-3-1. 5-3-1 has endless templates. Hell, I build off of them. Almost 2/3 of my clients are on it. We make it work. It's a very diverse system, just like conjugate is. Okay, it's very successful if you understand how to run it. And if you don't, hire a coach, right? Come to me. Hire me, we'll sort it out if you can't figure it out on your own. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.